Coming up on the January 15th edition of Carolina Week, troops from across the country are being deployed to the Middle East.
This could include students from Carolina who might have to give up their studies to serve their nation.
I'm Brad Broders. The applications are in. It's officially student campaign season. We'll tell you which students are running for office later on Carolina Week.
Carolina Week gives you the first look inside a new housing option on campus.
All that and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, I'm Alex Lawson.
And I'm Jenny McClendon. Thanks for joining us.
Campaign season has begun.
Students announced their candidacy Tuesday night.
We'll introduce you to them later, but first, breaking news.
Investigators have found the vials of bubonic plague that were missing from a biological research lab at Texas Tech University. But the FBI continues to investigate where they were and who had them.
The Centers for Disease Control classifies bubonic plague as a Category A biological agent, the most dangerous type. Carolina Week has learned that UNC Chapel Hill researchers also work with Category A agents. Microbiology Department Chairman Jeff Freilinger says someone who wanted to hurt a lot of people wouldn't need a whole vial of the dangerous bacteria.
Today they were talking about the loss of 25 or 35 vials of Yersinia pestis. But a thousandth or a millionth of the contents of any one of those vials could generate that amount in 24 to 48 hours.
Freilinger adds that if someone stole a small amount of a biological agent, it might be days before researchers would realize it was gone.
U.S. officials believe Saddam Hussein has used biological weapons and would do so again. As the nation prepares for a possible war, friends and families are saying goodbye to their loved ones as thousands of troops are being deployed to the Persian Gulf. These soldiers are from bases in Virginia and North Carolina. Eventually, students from Carolina could be deployed. Since last week, more than 14,000 troops from North Carolina have headed overseas. Meanwhile, in Baghdad, UN inspectors visited Saddam Hussein's presidential palace on Wednesday. President Bush says time is running out, and he's sick and tired of what he calls Iraq's games and deception. Some UNC Chapel Hill students may be preparing to go to war, but other students are speaking out against war. Carolina students involved in the campaign to end the cycle of violence are sleeping in tents in the middle of campus as part of their protest against a possible war in Iraq. Through teach-ins and speak-outs, the group hopes to educate students about the devastating effects of war. Protester Tim Stallman says students need to consider how the war at hand will affect the future of our country and our generation.
We're here because we believe this is a really historic time in our nation's history, and a decision is being made now that I think will affect the world for generations to come, and we're here because we feel very strongly that the proposed war in Iraq is a bad idea.
The anti-war group is holding a prayer for peace Thursday and is planning to go to Washington Saturday for a national anti-war protest.
It's official. We now know who's running for student government offices. Last night, the Board of Elections held a mandatory meeting for candidates in the February elections. Carolina Week's Brad Broders tells us although many students share the same goals, they have different approaches to solving campus problems.
How are you?
Not bad, you?
For the students filing into Mitchell Hall Tuesday night, long-held dreams came closer to being a reality. With the submission of these applications, the student body president, senior class president, and Carolina Athletic Association presidential hopefuls officially entered the election fray. Now these students must garner the needed signatures by January 21st to have a spot on the February 11th ballot. But this year's candidates face new obstacles set in place by the Board of Elections, including tighter rules for email postings and actions conducted by campaign staffs.
Make sure you are always responsible for your campaign workers and that you inform them of what you're doing. Always have a clear, clean slate and make sure that they understand that the code has to be abided by.
No matter which of the various platforms the students are running on, the Board of Elections is serious about the new regulations. They will keep a watchful eye for even the slightest slip-up.
4 SBP hopefuls declared their candidacies Tuesday: Nathan Cherry, Sang Shin, Matt Tepper, and Ben Pickett. All 4 noted similar problems that next year's leaders must tackle.
There are definitely issues that you'll see from year to year, and those will be addressed, such as safety, tuition,
the accessibility and visibility of student government.
Hopefully housing. I think housing is going to be one of the biggest issues, I think. And also, I think tuition might come up a couple of times. Of course, you have those core issues such as parking, safety, things like that.
I think that we're definitely going to deal with the more traditional issues that student body president candidates in their campaigns normally talk about, like, you know, tuition and housing and parking. But we have a lot of really cool, like, smaller ideas that I think that students will really be able to identify with.
I think security will be a great issue. We're going to have to look at this tuition thing very carefully.
Others vying for election victory were senior class president and vice presidential candidates. The 5 pairs addressed their aspirations, ranging from better student unity to increased service projects. We asked about their choice for an ideal commencement speaker, and the responses were both unique and similar.
This is a little shout out to my twin sister, would be Michael Jordan.
That's what she wants more than anything.
Because he overcomes so much, just accomplished a lot. It's hard work.
We talked about it a little bit. I think Michael Jordan is at the top of the list.
Would be an ideal. We're not quite sure if that's attainable.
Yeah,
we do not want to be held to that.
Yeah, don't.
We're just saying it's
don't do that.
Obviously, we have to wait for input, but my dream guy is Conan O'Brien. I mean, his Harvard speech was incredible, and he's eloquent and hilarious, and I think he'd be wonderful.
Now the candidates hope their own hard work pays off come February 11th. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brad Broders, Carolina Week.
We might know the new Carolina Athletic Association president before then. So far, there's only one candidate.
If you are graduating in May, here's some information for you. The Student Alumni Career Connection is Tuesday, January 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the Carolina Club. The event will give students a chance to network with alumni from different professions. Learn how to negotiate with employers at the Show Me the Money seminar on Wednesday, March 26th, also at 6:30 p.m. in the Alumni Center. Never paid the bills? This seminar will teach new grads how to manage an income, pay back school loans, and plan for large purchases. That one's at the Alumni Center at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, April 9th. Other important dates: the last day to file a degree application is Friday, February 14th, and spring commencement is Sunday, May 18th.
Commencement isn't until May, but future graduates are already starting to hunt for jobs.
We'll tell you what they can expect when Carolina Week returns.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
428 Essex, polyp on the premises.
220, we're on it. Let's roll.
In there.
Yeah, we'll handle this, man.
What? We're ready to be very civil about this.
You never know when a polyp is going to show up. Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it even starts. Just get a test from your doctor. Get the test, get the polyp,
Nice surgeon's touch.
get the cure.
Seniors planning to enter the workforce after graduation are likely to face a tough job market. A chief economist at Wachovia says the market won't get much better during the next several months. Filling out applications might prove useless as many big companies are enacting hiring freezes. But some jobs are still available, especially in the service industry. For example, Starbucks on Franklin Street is taking applications for part-time work. The nation's unemployment rate remained unchanged in December. It's still at 6%. That's the highest level since 1994.
A house in Frack Court is reopening, but it's not just for fraternity members. The house, formerly leased by Pi Lambda Phi fraternity, is now an apartment building. Workers are adding finishing touches to the suite-style apartments. Each suite has 2 to 3 bedrooms, a living area, a full kitchen, and as many as 3 bathrooms. The apartments will lease for $500 a month plus electricity. Each apartment has separate heat and air conditioning units, and every apartment will come with a parking space. But if you're hoping to move in next fall, you might be out of luck. Property owner Guy Soley says there's already a waiting list.
Banners line South Road announcing the opening of the new Union. What they don't tell us is that another part of the building has closed for renovations. The 10-month project, dubbed Phase 2, will reunite the entire complex, provide improved recreational and food services, and increase meeting and performance space. With 500 recognized student organizations on campus and more than 17,000 reservations made annually, Associate Director of the Carolina Union, Scott Hudson, says the closing comes as no small inconvenience.
We've lost 3/4 of our meeting rooms to the renovation, so we don't have near as many rooms that we can allow groups to meet in. Fortunately, it's a temporary situation, and when we're back up, we'll be able to accommodate most of our student body's needs.
Construction is scheduled to end in early 2004. There are new developments this week in our continuing look at the Carolina Computing Initiative. CCI's contract with IBM is up for renewal in a few months. But before the university renews the contract, Student Congress plans to study the effectiveness of the program. It's organizing a special committee to compare CCI to similar programs at other universities. Congress wants to ensure that CCI is functioning in the best interest of students. Now, if you purchase a CCI laptop, you can participate in an online survey at the address on your screen. The information gathered will be used to make recommendations for improving CCI. In December, we showed you how much money you could save if you didn't buy a laptop through the university. We also found students who said that they felt pressured to buy CCI machines. Carolina Week will continue to follow this story and bring you all the details about the investigation by Student Congress.
Can you keep a secret? Starting next week, you won't have to keep one for more than 90 days if it's your Onion password. Faculty and staff will have to create new passwords beginning January 21st. Students' passwords will start expiring February 13th. You'll get an email reminder when it's time to change yours. University officials say they hope the new policy will keep hackers from accessing personal information. To make the change, go to the university's webmail system or to onion.unc.edu.
A change made a year ago, fare-free busing in Chapel Hill seems to be a success. Ridership this fall was up 50% compared to the same time last year. 3 new routes are running, and the city added 1,200 new park and ride spaces. Transportation Director Mary Lou Kushatka says these services improvements mean less congestion and more parking spaces downtown. But the transition to fare-free didn't go off without a hitch.
We had a struggle in August because we had some routes where people were not able to get into the buses because they were too full. And it took us a few weeks to get it sorted out.
But Chapel Hill Transit has ironed out those problems, and students and residents are taking advantage of the free ride.
The cleanup around town and on campus continues. The city of Chapel Hill says about 20,000 tons of debris fell in the December 4th ice storm. Students walked to finals over ice and fallen limbs, and the buzz of chainsaws accompanied studies. The ice may be gone, but chainsaws are still buzzing across campus. Aggressive pruning can save trees, but Grounds Director Kirk Pellin says money for replanting after storms isn't in his budget.
Unfortunately, it will take us really a couple years to do all the replanting that we'd like to do from the storm.
As the ice damaged older trees most severely, Carolina grounds crews have carted off more than 500 truckloads of debris so far. Jason, that storm really hit us hard on campus and in Chapel Hill.
Really did. I think I still have some debris in my yard.
Oh, I know I do.
That's right. Well, we had a lot of cold and winter precipitation back in December, but those cold temperatures are back again in January, and snow might be right around the corner again for late this week around Friday, but we're going to keep an eye on that. First, let's go to this week's weather question, which is, halos around the sun are caused by what? Rain, ice crystals, tornadoes, or the angels? I'll have the answer and this weekend's forecast just after the break.
Making a can from recycled aluminum instead of from raw materials reduces air pollution by 95%. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Recycling all our Sunday papers would save over 500,000 trees a week. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Recycling a glass bottle saves enough energy to run the TV you're watching for 1 full hour. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
Thousands of kids in this country have everything it takes to go to college, except the money. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. We've had some cold temperatures this week, but it's been dry too, so everyone that's been able to be outside has been able to chill out. But the wind is what's been making it feel so cold out there, and it can make it feel about 10 degrees cooler, just like the flags around campus have been flying big time. And if you're going to be out at the pit, they're making cotton candy too, so there's a lot going on still outside. Normals for January, maximum temperature is 49 degrees, and we've been a little cooler than that. This week we've seen a lot of lower 40s. Our low temperature is normally 29 degrees, and we stayed about at the low average. But our snowfall, 2.4 inches. We haven't had any snow really for January, but that may be changing as we take a look at Friday. First, let's go to our satellite map, and we can see right now we've had a high pressure system over the southeast, and so it's been really sunny over our area, but this low pressure system here is going to be pushing our way, and that's what could affect us as we get closer to the weekend. It looks like it's going to be more late Thursday and early on Friday, so keep that in mind. If we go to our surface map, we can see the low pressure system, and that is going to be pushing our way with more of the snow to the north of this low pressure system. So really the big question that we're looking at is how far south will the low pressure go, because the low pressure could go a little south of North Carolina. So we'll see more snow or a greater chance for snow to the west of the Raleigh, Durham area, Chapel Hill area, and to the north of us. But towards the south and the east of us, we might see some rain. So we're right there along that line, and that's where we're still keeping an eye on that. If we go to our 4-day forecast, we can see those cold temperatures staying with us, that chance of snow on Friday, and a high of 34 degrees, 25 will be our low. On Saturday, the clouds will break up a little bit, be partly cloudy, and we'll have a high of 39 degrees, and 17 will be our low. And on Sunday, another cold day, 40 degrees will be our high, and 20 as our low with partly cloudy conditions. And on Monday for your holiday, we'll see a high of 45 degrees and a low of 22 degrees. If you're going to be going to the beach, it's going to be cold there too. We'll have a high on Saturday of 43 degrees and a low of 23, but we will have some sunshine there at the beach. And then the clouds will start coming in on Sunday and be partly cloudy on Sunday with a high of 48 and a low of 25. If you're going to be going up to the mountains, that's where it's really going to be cold. We'll see a high of 28 on Saturday and a low of 10, and a chance of snow late on Saturday. On Sunday, we should see the clouds break up a little bit more, being partly cloudy, a high of 32 degrees and a low of 15. So we're really not going to see the temperatures go up above the freezing mark very much. So if you're going to be going to the mountains, that's where you may see some snow showers, so keep an eye on the roads because that could be treacherous. If you're going to be going to the mountains, though, it will be perfect for skiing, and there's a lot of trails open. Appalachian has 8, Cataloochee has 7, Ski Beach has 14, and Sugar Mountain has 19. So we've got a lot of trails open at the ski resorts. Does anybody plan on going skiing this weekend? It's going to be perfect for it.
I think I'll just stay inside and keep warm.
Right. Well, definitely staying inside is where it's going to be the warmest because it is going to be very cold this weekend. So make sure you bundle up if you're going to be going out. But does anybody have an answer to our weather question? I got that mixed up, angels, rainbows. So I don't think that one's it, but does anybody have a guess on which one they think it is?
Brittany?
I'll go with B. My first name starts with B. It's one of my favorite letters, so I'll guess B.
Well, that's a great guess. That's exactly right. Halos are caused by B ice crystals. So that's what the refracting of the light is what causes the halo around the sun. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Well, Brittany, our men's basketball team had an exciting finish last night against Clemson.
They definitely did. It was a close match against Clemson, but don't forget, the women are also playing very, very well. But we'll talk about that later. Coming up in sports, Clemson comes to town sporting a gaudy 10-1 record, but looking for its first ever win in Chapel Hill. Could the Heels tame the Tigers again? Find out when Carolina Week returns.
Mrs. Abruzzo, I'm Ed McMahon, and we're signing up people for.
Yes,
I am. Yeah. Mr. Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up. No.
Dreams
no.
really do
Be
come
it,
true.
Be it the,
Dinero.
no.
Con cámaras.
No time.
Yes,
Ed
con
McMahon,
cámaras.
see.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, Ed McMahon. We're having our first
Ed
ever.
McMahon.
Yes. Tuesday night at the high school. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just
5, 6, 7, 8.
No tango de nero. Neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right.
Larry, put some pants on.
I'll come back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
One UNC Chapel Hill hoop squad is on a hot streak. The Carolina women hosted Wake Forest Thursday night, looking for their 10th straight win. The 10-2 Deacons start cold, missing 19 of their first 21 shots. No such trouble for the Heels, Leah Metcalf with one of her 9 assists to Latangela Atkinson. Metcalf starts it again. This time Jennifer Thomas finishes, UNC by 22 at the break. More great passing in the second half. Candace Sutton grabs the board and hits Coretta Brown, who finds Thomas. She finishes with 12 points. Metcalf and Atkinson add 14 each. Tar Heels roll 86-56. Coach Sylvia Hatchell is happy with her team's progress so far this season.
I think we are improving. I think we're doing a lot of good things out there. When you win games like we've won against State and Wake, you got to be doing something right.
And the beat goes on. Women's basketball won its 11th straight, 74-53 in Tallahassee Sunday. Coretta Brown hit 5 3-pointers and totaled 28 points for the Tar Heels. Carolina heads to Clemson Thursday and hosts undefeated top-ranked Duke Monday at noon. The men's and women's swimming and diving teams were in action Saturday, hosting Florida State and Rutgers. The Carolina men went 1-1 on the day as they defeated the Scarlet Knights but lost a close one to the Seminoles. The women's team won 8 of its 16 events on the way to 2 easy victories. Junior Kelly Weeks took the 1,000-yard freestyle and 200-yard butterfly. Junior Jessie Paraquet also won 2 events, the 100 and 200-yard freestyle, and she anchored the victorious 400-yard freestyle relay. Paraquet was named ACC Women's Swimming and Diving Performer of the Week. The women have a meet against NC State Wednesday at 6. Both the men and the women travel to Clemson Saturday. Carolina's men's basketball team rang in the new year on a sour note, dropping its first game of 2003 to the Miami Hurricanes. Last Wednesday, the Heels hoped to bounce back against Davidson, a team that shocked Carolina last season with its 15-point win against the Heels. 3 is the magic number for this game as the Heels take a school record 35 attempts from behind the arc. Even the Wildcats get on the 3-point action with this basket by Wayne Bernard. Carolina opens up a double-digit lead before the end of the first half and cruises to a 79-64 victory. Following a loss to Virginia, the Heels hosted Clemson. Now, what do former Carolina football players do during the offseason? Of course, go to Carolina basketball games. In the first half against Clemson, Raymond Felton goes off from behind the arc, hitting 3 of 4 from 3-point range. He would finish with 15 points and 8 assists, but the Tigers would hang on with the Heels through the first half, and it's all tied up going into the second. Nice defense and a few key baskets down the stretch helped Carolina eke out a 68-66 win. And now Felton says the team must focus on its next game against 6th-ranked Connecticut.
We're just going to play UConn as another game. We know they're a great team. We're just going to practice, prepare for them, and just come out and just play a hard game. You know what I'm saying? As long as we give it 100%, I think we have a good chance of winning.
UNC's indoor track and field season burst out of the blocks Saturday as the Heels opened their season with the North Carolina Big 12 meet in the Eddie Smith Fieldhouse. Although there's no team scoring in the event, Carolina's men's and women's teams perform well throughout the day. The men win 7 of 14 events, including a first-place finish by junior Andrew Craycraft in the 800 meters. On the women's side, hurdlers Lindsey Bond and Kiera Underwood finished 2nd and 3rd, respectively, in the 60-meter hurdles. And overall, the women win 6 of 14 events. Both teams are back in action Friday and Saturday at the Virginia Invitational. The Carolina wrestling team opened ACC action at rival NC State Tuesday night. The two schools have combined to win the past 25 ACC championships. NC State started off hot, taking the first 3 matches for an early 10-zip advantage, but Carolina would storm back, winning 4 consecutive to take the lead 15-10. The Heels finished off the Wolfpack with victories in 2 of the last 3 matches. Final score, Heels 21, Wolfpack 13. Carolina hosts UNC Greensboro and Anderson College Saturday. And in one final football note, 2 seniors from Carolina's squad, Zach Hilton, tight end Zach Hilton, and wide receiver Sam Aiken will be playing in a few senior bowls in order to improve their draft prospects. So we'll see how they do in these coming weeks.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Brittany.
Thanks.
Well, after New Year's, there's always that rush to the gym.
Making the spring semester the busiest time of the year for the SRC. But will a simple visit to the gym really get the results students want? After the break.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Here's a look at what's happening at Carolina this week. A campus blood drive will be held January 16th from 9 to 2 in the New Student Union. Jewish and Palestinian musicians will perform together this Saturday at 8 p.m. in Hill Hall.
On Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, there will be a candlelight vigil at the steps of South Building. After the vigil, there will be a processional to Hill Hall to hear Professor Cornel West of Princeton University. He'll deliver the keynote address to mark the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. West will speak at 7:30. Tickets are free.
People often make New Year's resolutions to stop biting their nails, to drive a little slower, or to spend more time on schoolwork.
One of the most common resolutions for college students is to lose weight before spring break. Carolina Week's Erin Mesmer has the story.
Seen a big increase, yes. It seems that more people are coming after Christmas break. I'm assuming because of the New Year's resolution thing.
To many, January 1st means not only a new year, but a new weight loss program as well. Some begin to pay attention to that food pyramid they learned about in elementary school. Others head to the gym. The coordinator for fitness and nutrition at the Center for Healthy Student Behaviors, Tasha Robertson, says these people are on the right track to slimming down as long as their exercise program is balanced.
We want to make sure that folks are able to reduce their total calorie intake in a healthy way and not to levels that are going to be detrimental to their overall goal. And then secondly, increase their activity to burn off additional calories. The best way to do that is cardiovascular activity. In addition, it's important for folks to remember to do weight training. That's important in terms of preserving that lean body mass.
Nutritionist Jenny Favre agrees that keeping that lean body mass is important.
But unfortunately, a lot of the weight that they lose was going to be water for one thing, as well as a lot of lean body mass. When they gain the weight back, it returns as body fat.
Both also agree that some form of exercise and weight watching is better than nothing. In the gym, I'm Erin Mesmer, Carolina Week.
Jenny, did you have any New Year's resolutions for the year?
You know, every year I sit down and I make a list, and I had about 10 this year, and unfortunately I've broken about half of them already.
Really? I try to stay away from them as well.
Yeah.
Always because I never make it.
All right.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.